I don't want to be long or short in any crypto. I want to keep my money in US dollars or euros. I don't want this long and short thing. Welcome to Unfair Crypto Advantage. And this video is dedicated to my friend Pavel and to all the other guys who are hodling. HODL, it's HODL. It was a typo for holding cryptos and for holding cryptos and not trading it. And trading means that you sell it and try to buy it lower. You sell it on a high point and then you try to buy it lower. Or short sell, to sell one Bitcoin high and to rebuy it when the price is lower. Trading, that's called trading. So there are two things we need to know when it comes to the decision: are we trading or are we hodling? So number one, we jump to my iPad. I need to make some points clear here. Okay, number one, we all have our base currency. And this is the currency we live in. In Europe, it's the euro. In the US, it's the US dollar. Maybe you're in Great Britain, it will be British pound. This is your base currency. This is your currency you live in, you think in. This is the currency you convert. If you see a car for 200,000 shekel, I have no idea what this is. This is the currency you convert it to. Or I'm just coming from Dubai and dinner there was 400 dirham. But I don't think in 400 dirham, I think in 70 or 80 euros, because I convert to euros. Old Germans still convert everything into Deutschmark. Deutsche Mark, the currency before the euro. Very old French people are not only converting the euro into francs, but they are converting the francs into the old francs. There was one changing in the franc system in the 60s. So this base currency and what we're living on is very easy for us to get, very easy for us to grasp, but what we don't get is our base currency getting less and less worth over time. Yes, inflation. I'm talking about inflation. And before we start, now we talk about going long and short. So we make a transaction and we buy Bitcoin. We buy Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we are long in Bitcoin. But what is the point that almost nobody recognizes? When we buy Bitcoin for the base currency, for euros, we are long in Bitcoin, and for this 40,000 euros we are short in euro. And this is important. You are never not in any position. If you change euros to Bitcoin, you are long in Bitcoin and short in euro. Usually when you're short in your base currency, usually that would be a smart thing because you have inflation, which means that over a certain time you get less for your €1 that you got before. So due to inflation, base currencies are generally worth a short position. But what we are doing is completely ignore that. And the inflation rate is massive. I have a different video about the rules of 72. So this basically means your annual 72 divided by your turnover or your inflation rate. This means you get the amount of years till your money is doubled or halved in inflation. So, for example, we take inflation rate of 7.2%. I will make a different video about the inflation rate, because the inflation rate is so forged, so counterfeit, so wrong, that a used car dealer would go to jail if he would use the same techniques that the guys maintaining the inflation rate use to push the inflation rate down, the official inflation rate down. So an inflation rate of 7.2% is quite realistic. This means 72 divided by 7.2 is 10. This means after 10 years, the worth of your money is half. So this means we go now back to our Bitcoin. We buy 2022, we buy a Bitcoin for 35,000. So if we keep thinking in our base currency, our Bitcoin needs an average of 7.2% gain per year, per annum, PA, per annum. And we sell it 10 years later for 70,000, and when we get the 70,000 back, we have the same money. For this euros we get back, we can buy the same that we could buy 10 years before. And I'm a car guy, and I bought my first quicker car. It was a Golf GTI for 30,000 Deutschmarks in 1992. This was the first car I bought from my own money, 1992. These are 15,000 euros, and my car was top notch. It was the upper end of the Golf cars, of the Volkswagen Golfs. Now the lowest end, 30 years later, the lowest end is about 30,000 euros, 60,000 Deutschmarks. So inflation is just recognizable for us over long periods of time. We don't get the inflation when we pay for a glass of beer. We pay 4 euros, and next year we pay 4.20 euros. We don't care, and we don't recognize it. So if you keep thinking in these, by ignoring the loss of value in your base currency. On the other hand, you have to accept, if you're long in a crypto position, that the crypto position needs to make up for the loss, for the inflation loss of your base currency. It's a complete different piece of cake if you consider Bitcoin as a base currency. Is this the way to get lucky? Is this the way to get happy? No, of course not. The volatility of Bitcoin is nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. And if you come from a standard investment point, or from stocks, and you see that below that the uptrend in Bitcoin is below 12,000 US dollars, and we are far away from that. If Bitcoin would go down now, 2022 to $12,000, it would be nerve-wracking. I would actually appreciate it to stock up, but it's almost 70% of its current worth would vanish, and this, you have to live with that too, because with Bitcoin you usually can't buy your car, you can't buy your train ticket, you can't buy your flight ticket, you can't buy your house. So it's the only guy I ever heard using Bitcoin as a base currency and thinking of Bitcoin is Andreas Antonopoulos, the Bitcoin Pope, the bad boy of Bitcoin, he knows everything about Bitcoin guy. He says he thinks in Bitcoin and he thinks in Satoshi. But everyone else in my small peer group, everyone else has its base currency in which they are thinking. And too long, didn't read. You are always long or short. It doesn't matter if you have your money in Bitcoin or euros. You're always long or short. If you have your money in euros, you're short in every other cryptocurrency. If you have your money in Bitcoin, you're short on ETH and every other Bitcoin currency and every other real currency in the world. And you have to be aware of that, because otherwise you go crazy. And I completely get that the HODL is less nerve-wracking than trading. But I think trading makes more money because you use the swings in a little bit. If you use the swings, well, of course we try to buy here, and we try to buy here, and we try to buy here. And of course we try to sell here, we try to sell here, and we try to sell over there. What our nature is buy low, buy low, buy low, and sell high, sell high, sell high. So what we want to have is this long game, long. This long game. But just see for yourself that there's a second game in the same thing. And we're doing basically the same. We are selling high, short sell, and we are buying low. The short game. We are selling high, and we are buying low. That's the short game. The short game is not very popular in Europe. I think it's more popular in I heard a statistic about it, that the Americans are shorting 200 times more than the Europeans combined. So this short game is something we have to get used to. And one way to get used to it is not to use short as a word. I really mean that. I really mean that. How can we do this? Hey Jens, I buy Bitcoin for €4. Hey Jens, what's your position? I am long in Bitcoin. Hey Jens, what's your position? I'm long in euro. What's your position? I'm long in Bitcoin. What's your position? Long in euro. This helped me tremendously to get used to short selling, because I don't short sell. I switch long positions. If you find what I'm doing here of any worth, please like, subscribe, and push the bell button, so it's easier for us to spread the word and to get a bigger group, a more exciting group with more insights. Thank you very much for listening, and bye-bye.
This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'll just tell you what worked for me, and you can do it at your own risk. You could lose everything you invest and more. 'Cause this is not financial advice. It's not financial advice.